Welcome to Declutter's Delight for Your Life. I'd like to welcome you to Decluttering to attract abundance into your life takes 3 ways. Yes, I know a lot of us, wonder about abundance in our lives and wonder why and how some people seem to have more abundance than others and some always seems to have more and a lot of it I find comes down to our thinking and our belief system. And as in the past, I've talked about poor man's thinking and rich man's thinking. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that and 3 ways that, for those who really want to look at abundance in their lives and, in a sense, create your own luck. And it's going to really come down to these principles as far as abundance is concerned, because um, for many of us, we never think about these things, and even as hoarders or clutters or chronic disorganizers, we have to stop and think that chaos that runs rampant in our lives for a long time. It seems like the doors of abundance has closed in on us as our stuff has enclosed upon us. And then we wonder why nothing is happening. We may start clearing away the mess and everything else, and then what we ask to ourselves, what do we do next so we can attract abundance into our lives and have what we want in our lives to make it happen? Well, the first one I'd like to bring to you is called persistence. You know, persistence is one of those things that, when you are willing to, put your all into it, you're willing to put your heart and realize that, whether it's going to be maybe very difficult to do what you want to see abundance happen. It may mean starting a business. It may be starting up savings, setting up a budget, and it may have to be persistent and consistent with that instead of chaotic as far as that's concerned. And that's part of persistence in putting all those elements together. And that's and if you start putting those elements and being persistent and consistent and putting and realizing that by being persistent in your life, that's one element of abundance that all of us can look at and realize that if we have a lot of persistence, it's been looked at down through the ages, going back to even the turn of the century through some research, that those with a lot of persistence actually get the riches as far as the country is concerned, because that even through the tough times and the difficult times, they had the persistence to be able to put that one foot in front of the other and come up with creative ideas in order to make money. And abundance too doesn't always just mean money too. Abundance can mean in relationships or any number of things, or realizing that you have your own self-worth, and that's a form of abundance itself. Another element of abundance is determination, having the determination to decide and make a decision and stick with it, even though sometimes the decisions we make people may not like. But when we make a decision and are decisive about it, then we realize that if we're decisive and stick by our decision, then we become, as I got back up to persistence, that consistency starts to form in our lives, and the chaos that we have known all our lives starts to disappear because of that determination to realize that we don't have to keep making decisions that seem very chaotic in our lives, and that we can be very decisive. And that also leads to better self-esteem in realizing that we are a whole lot more self-determined about who we are and are more self-assured when we do make determination a part of our lives. And I think that's a great thing that we do. And for a lot of us, determination can be a hard thing to do. A lot of times it's been looked at that those with determination, you know, out there, there's a lot of folks out there who are just employees and that's what they do all their lives and decide, that's what they're going to do is be wage earners and everything seems going to seem predictable or whatever, and then something happens and they have no job and the consistency and everything they had is gone. While those with determination and persistence in their lives have consistency even when difficult times happen and are able to handle them and able to look for ways to have abundance in their life. And then one of the last things I'd like to bring into things is having faith. Faith and action that go hand in hand is that when you have the faith to put things into action, that with all the other two going hand in hand, you open yourselves to the abundance of the universe, because having faith is extremely important in searching for ways to have abundance. Because sometimes when you're going through and making choices so that you do have abundance, and when things seem difficult and people think you're maybe crazy or nutty, or they don't necessarily like your decision or what you're doing, you have to have the faith in yourself that what the decisions you're making are going to work, and the actions that you're taking and the decisions you make are decisive. And for all of us, that's a very hard thing to do, because for a lot of us in school, they don't even teach us how to think. They don't teach us how to think for ourselves. And that's one of my concerns too, is for our kids and our coming out of our schools nowadays, is they're not taught how to think. And I find that, we really need to teach our kids how to think. And to me, I would definitely, I think we need to have classes that teach our kids how to think. And that's just my opinion. But if we're going to have individuals in our country that make our self-determination and can have persistence, determination, and have faith in action, and so that our country can move forward and be strong for in the future, we're going to have be able to people to be able to think for themselves. And that includes you guys out there too. And that includes me. To be able to think for oneself is important, because that's where creativity and new inventions and new thoughts and new ideas come from. And that's what brings abundance of all kinds, abundance in money, relationships, all, social, whatever you want to think about. But without all that, then we have nothing. And I firmly believe that we need, as a nation, to think about these things. And with that, I wish everybody a great Declutters Delight for Life. Have blessings, peace, tranquility, love, compassion, hope, and peace. And just a couple things I'd like to remind you of, that we do have a free video at our Facebook page, Declutters Delight for Life. And we're shortly coming out with Pathways for Recovery, which is based on my pathway of recovery, on my own recovery. And it's going to be a big help for you guys out there. And I know you guys out there are a lot of you I know who probably wonder how I was able to recover. And I'm going to be there for you. So with that, you guys have a great night and have love, compassion, and kindness in your heart. Blessings to you all.